No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
And 1.2. In this video, we're going to be talking about the battle axe here in Albion Online. And the battle axe, in my opinion, is one of the most versatile weapons in this game, as it can do all types of PvE, PvP, it can take down aspects, it can take down resource mobs, you could do it in small group, you could do it solo, roads, myths, open world. The battle axe is perfect for all types of content, for solo to small group players alike. When it comes to large group content, the battle axe is not seen as much, as it is seen as more of a small group solo weapon. There are a lot better types of axes that shine in a large group environment, but for the sake of this video, we're talking more small group or solos and the different types of content that you can do. Now inside, I have a chest with all of the different types of pieces, from the helmets, chest pieces, and shoes to the offhands and capes, as well as the food and pots. I'm going to go through them one at a time and talk about why you would use each one in different scenarios, as well as later in this video, I'm going to put a set on, take you over to the training area, and show you some of the different things you have to know to get the most out of your battle axe. First one we have is going to be the Hunter's Hood. This one is really good for myths, open world. It can work for roads. It is a lot better in the myths because in a 1v1 scenario, Hunter Hood shines, as it does have the 100% reflect, and if your opponent is using one of their highest DPS options, you can use Retaliate to reflect all of that damage back at them and essentially make them kill themselves. Hunter Hood's always a good one to go with. You're going to go with Balanced Mind. You always want more damage. We have Fiend Cow, which has a Purge. Purge takes away enemy buffs, so it could take away boots, it could take away damage boosts, it could take away stacks that the opponent has from like a sword or dagger. It could take away mercenary jackets, Hellion jackets. It could take away lots of different options and rip them off the opponent if it's something that they desperately need. For example, if you are fighting like a Hellion jacket and they are using the lifesteal aura, you could take that right off of them and then finish them, because that might be their only heal option that they have, and that might be something that can win you the fight. We have the Mage Cow, which is a budget option. It's going to be cheaper than the first two helmets I mentioned. We have the Fire Breath, as well as we're going to be going aggression on both these cloth helms. Fire Breath breathes a cone in front of you, and it hits any enemies that are inside the cone, and it does a damage over time. So this one can be really good for extra damage. We have the chest pieces, which are going to be Mercenary Jacket and Hellion Jacket, and this is what brings the versatility of the battle axe so high, as it helps its sustain and survivability in different types of fights. Mercenary Jacket is going to shine more in like a corrupted dungeon environment, a 1v1 environment. The Mercenary Jacket is really good at getting lots of your healing back due to the Bloodlust, and you can stack with the battle axe like Adrenaline, which gives you increased attack speed and damage. So that's a combination that you can use to get the most out of your Mercenary Jacket. You're also going to go Balanced Mind, again, more damage. We have Hellion Jacket, which has the Lifesteal Aura. This one's really good for myths, open world, and fighting multiple opponents at once, because every single enemy that this is touching, and if the lower your health is, the more heals you're going to get, it steals 100% of the health the enemy has lost. So if you're below 20% health and you hit 106 damage on each enemy, you're getting 100% of that healing back to you. If you have 5 opponents, that's 500 health every single time that it ticks. But this does a ton of healing, and you can also, in the mist, for example, you can use the mob camps, you can use groups of mobs, you can use resource mobs while you're fighting an opponent, and you can use those NPCs to heal yourself in the fight. So there's a lot of sustaining things that you can do to keep yourself alive while using the Hellion Jacket. We have the tier 6 battle axe, which has the Rending Rage. Now when it comes to the battle axe that you're using, it needs to be a flat tier 6 or up. Anything below, such as tier 5 and 4, are not going to have Rending Rage. You need level 85 on the axe tree to unlock Rending Rage, and the reason that this is so good is because you can apply 3 stacks of bleed instantly to your opponent, or 2 stacks, then wait and add another stack easily with Rending Rage, compared to the other abilities that only have a 1 cast. You have Adrenaline Boost, which is going to be strong against most melee matchups except for things like Spear, which has a cripple, and cripple rips away speed buffs. So again, if you have this Adrenaline Boost on, it does give you movement speed. Cripple will rip that away, so that's something you have to be careful of. But Adrenaline Boost can be purged, but this one is mostly used. And then against range matchups, we have Battle Rush. Now, in most cases, the battle axe is a winning matchup against any other melee weapon, but when it comes to range, such as bow, arcane, frost, curse, it's going to be a lot more troublesome for the battle axe, because it does have a hard time closing the distance. So if you are going to take any of those type of fights that are very kitey or playing keep away like a bow, Battle Rush is going to be better for you. We have the different boots. Either you're going to want a healing, which is rejuvenating sprint. You're going to want like some type of cloth sandal. I just use Scholar sandals as an example to have the energetic sprint, or you can take Royal Sandals for Defenseless Rush. When you're chasing someone, you'll have more damage. If you're running from someone, you're unpurgeable. Just remember that your defense does decrease, but because Royal Sandals is a toggle ability, which means it can be turned on and then turned off, this is an unpurgeable sandal. So if you are running away from someone that has like a Fiend Cow and they try to purge you, it's just going to hit you. Nothing's going to happen. You're going to be able to get away still. We have the different offhands in this order. I would use Musak, and then if I wasn't using Musak, I would use a Face Breaker. So for the Musak, it increases your physical attack bonus by 8.4%, or at least the one that I have. I don't have it currently equipped, but depending on your spec, it'll do more. But it also does make your abilities cost more, so you just need to be very careful. That's why I like pairing like a Cloth Sandal with it, just so you can have that energetic sprint to get some energy back. If you don't want the Musak, you can take Face Breaker. So Face Breaker is going to be a little bit of a cheaper option and adds a little bit more defense. Just remember that if you are in any groups, this does have a threat generation, so you are probably going to be taking all of the hits from the mobs if you are hitting any of them, just because of that small threat generation that it has. But it does give you attack bonus as well as some type of defense versus players. So if you wanted to be a little bit more offensive and defensive, as well as you're not losing as much energy, you can use Face Breaker. And then the budget option, if you can't afford these, it would be a Torch. Torch is the way to go. Cooldown modifier and attack speed is really good on the Battle Axe. It helps it all around the board, and it's a really good budget option if you don't want to pay for a Musak or a Face Breaker. And then the food options we have is going to be roast pork, ability, which means it can be turned on and then turned off. This is an unpurgeable. And then we have Undead Cape, just in case you get below 15% health and you are in trouble. This is essentially a get out of jail free option unless your opponent knows how to play around it. But if you do time the Undead Cape right, you can get out of a lot of situations and it can save you. It is a lot more of a pricey option, so if you are more on budget, I would go Thetford Cape. And then again, this is a 6.1, so the builds that I have right here is a T7 equivalent, and what that means is like 6.1, because of that one extra enchantment, makes this 100 item power more. So this is the same as if I was to buy a T7 flat Scholar Sandal, and that's why I have like 4, 3, 5, 6, 7. So the 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a T7 Thetford Cape, or it's equivalent to a T7 Thetford Cape, but it's cheaper. T7 Thetford Cape's gonna be way more than this. That's some of the things that you should do, but as well as you can go flat 6 across the board, go 4-2, or go flat 6 on everything that you're wearing, just depending on, you need to check the prices on the market and kind of do your due diligence on that. But I'm gonna put on the build that I usually use when I'm doing any type of roaming, and it's gonna be Battle Axe. I go Adrenaline, I go Life Leech just so I have more sustain. I take a Musak Thetford Cape. I usually go Royal Sandals just because I like the unpurgeable nature that they bring. And then we have a Healing Pot and Roasted Pyramid Snapper. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the training arena, and I'm going to take off my skin so you can see the armor pieces that I'm wearing. So we're going to go over to the training arena in this set, and I'm going to show you a couple tricks that you need to keep in mind when using the Battle Axe. And these are very detrimental to the type of playstyle that you bring with the Battle Axe, as the Q and the E are very important, as well as the E is a skill shot. So when it comes to attacking opponents, this is going to be our opponents. Rending Rage is 2 swipes, and then it is it's called Raging Leap, and it leaps forward, and all enemies at a 5-meter radius will be rooted for 1.8 seconds. It also deals damage and applies another bleed. Now, each one of the bleeds will bleed over, so here it says each rending bleed charge deals 107 physical damage over 6 seconds, and you can stack up to 3. If you have a maximum of 3 bleed stacks, and this goes for all the axes, you will affect the enemy's healing received and it's reduced by 12% for 5 seconds. So if you keep 3 bleed stacks, it's reducing people's healing. So if they have a healer or anything, Battle Axe is absolutely oppressive because it reduces their healing overall. So what we do in fights though is we double swipe and then we save it. And then we can double swipe again. So we always do 1, 2. So and Roasted Pyramid Snapper. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the training arena, and I'm going to take off my skin so you can see the armor pieces that I'm wearing. So we're going to go over to the training arena in this set, and I'm going to show you a couple tricks that you need to keep in mind when using the Battle Axe. And these are very detrimental to the type of playstyle that you bring with the Battle Axe, as the Q and the E are very important, as well as the E is a skill shot. So when it comes to attacking opponents, this is going to be our opponents. Rending Rage is 2 swipes, and then it is it's called Raging Leap, and it leaps forward, and all enemies at a 5-meter radius will be rooted for 1.8 seconds. It also deals damage and applies another bleed. Now, each one of the bleeds will bleed over. So here it says each rending bleed charge deals 107 physical damage over 6 seconds, and you can stack up to 3. If you have a maximum of 3 bleed stacks, and this goes for all the axes, you will affect the enemy's healing received and it's reduced by 12% for 5 seconds. So if you keep 3 bleed stacks, it's reducing people's healing. So if they have a healer or anything, Battle Axe is absolutely oppressive because it reduces their healing overall. So what we do in fights though is we double swipe and then we save it. And then we can double swipe again. So we always do 1, 2. So we go 1, 2, and then we wait for that circle down there to dissipate so that we can do it again and output more damage. Because every single swipe that we do, we get extra damage out of it. Now, if we were to swipe, and then root right away, this would go into a 6-second cooldown, and now we're not able to use Rending Rage to output extra damage. But if we just swipe, and let that circle dissipate, we're ready to use Rending Rage faster than we were before, which makes it be able to output more damage. You can keep bleed stacks up faster, and then you're not playing the game of rooting, and the physical damage that's being dealt from the bleeds, it lasts 6 seconds. So by the time that your root is up, you're going to have to time the next hit very precisely to keep the 3 bleed stacks, because you're essentially giving them up by doing your root if you don't get these next couple hits on them to keep the bleeds up. Now we have Blood Bandit, which is going to be your E, and it is a skill shot, so it can be shot in any direction. It's just an axe that you throw. And then you have a second axe that you can throw for healing. So once you throw it, it'll give you heals depending on the stacks, the bleed stacks on the opponent. So if you look on the bottom here, it says Rending Rage bleed charges 0, 1, 2, and 3. The damage is 740, 845, up to 1057. And then you have a self heal of 130 to 390. And that's dependent on if you have full stacks of bleed on your opponent. So if we put full stacks on them, just like that, and then we throw the E, that's gonna be our maximum damage, as well as we get the max heals out of it on the first target that we hit. So that's one of the things that helps make the Battle Axe so sustaining due to that healing, as well as it makes it really good at PvE. Again, all of these things double over in PvE. So when you're fighting any of the open world mobs, clearing chests, all of these things will help you to sustain yourselves while fighting different types of mobs that might be a little bit harder. The next thing I want to talk about is this E again. So right now, if we throw the second E, we have a 20-second cooldown that we have to wait for it to get our second E back, or just get the E back in general. Like, we are unable to use this for 20 seconds. So the thing with this though is we don't want to use the second E unless we have to heal. So what we're going to do is we're going to swipe. We have full health because our opponent's not fighting back or whatever. We throw the first E, and now this circle is going to start dissipating. And now while it's slowly closing, we're essentially cutting our cooldown in half, because this is, instead of it being 20 seconds, it's now going to be 10 seconds. So we can end up throwing this again and already have it ready for the fight. And a lot of times what I'll do is if I have an opponent at range and he's kind of kiting a little bit, he doesn't know if he wants to come in or not, a lot of times I'll just throw an axe like this. We'll get that 740 damage and we'll kind of back off. So we got an extra chip damage on him. And if he does close the distance, my E is almost ready. The circle is dissipating right here and it's almost ready. So while he's fighting me, I can start brawling. I can start applying bleed stacks. And then as soon as my E is ready, I'm going to root and I'm going to throw my E's at him. Or just my first E if I don't need to heal still. So a lot of times you play off of your Rending Rage's the third Q to get that root off. You root and then you throw the E on them because they can't move. Another thing you want to keep in mind too is adrenaline boost. Adrenaline boost is a thing that'll increase your damage by 25%. This applies to both the Q and the E. So what you could do is you can stack. Let's say you W in, you stack, and then you root and you throw this E, it's going to do extra damage. So on top of that, you can use your adrenaline to move in, you can use it to get away, and then you can use it to do extra damage with your Qs, as well as get extra damage out of your E. So these are both big things. We also have the life stealing aura, which is going to tick on every single mob that it's hitting. Very good at getting your health back. We have the healing pots, the roasted pyramid snapper, defenseless rush, and then again we have the retaliate, which will 100% reflect anything that's coming at us. And then we also have the W, which I switched over to, which is battle rush, that can be used to close the distance on opponents. So if any kind of range opponents that's kiting a lot, you can use W to close the distance, get Qs off and root, and then get your E combo off. But that's going to be all the different type of tricks that you need to know when using the battle axe and any type of content that you're doing. All the same tips that I gave you apply in PvP, they apply in PvE. Again, this is just a hard, sustain, helps you get your health back, push through the fight, and it also does a crap ton of damage as well as negates healing. The battle axe is versatile all around. It is my favorite weapon in Albion Online at this time. Love using it. I've been using it for tons of content, and I'll be using it for a lot of content here in the future. But that's gonna be it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned some stuff about the battle axe here in Albion Online, and I hope to see some of you out there getting out there and using it, trying it out for different types of content, whether you're a solo or a small group player. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next video, and I'll see all of you in Albion Online. The battle.
It is not good for me. Şimdi geldi kavramı. كنزنا نشوف لك التليفون دغيا دابا.
Dich doch, SpongeBob. Ich muss doch gar kein Baby sein, damit ich deine alte Oma mal wiedersehe.
بلاتي بلاتي هاك ديري هنا هيري بلاتي اسف هاك closer. Okay.
Welcome, friend. My pleasure. Have a look. Got everything?
Indubitably. Stamina. Alhamdulillah.
Buying or selling?
What? What? Sto stare.
Deal.
Okay, finished.